Freemasonry Report. Want to talk to you about getting dressed for lodge. This is a popular question that's been coming to me over the years, and I wanted to take a moment to answer it and give you a really good answer to the question. First off, you should really consider making sure you're showing up appropriately at lodge. It's never good to wear flip-flops, shorts to a lodge meeting. Even if you're a guest and a first-time visitor, take a moment to get dressed. I always recommend business casual. What I'm wearing today is a nice bow tie, white shirt, and a vest that's going to go with my suit jacket. Yes, the Worshipful Master is in charge of the lodge, so every decision he makes is law for his given year. He can order people to wear bow ties, ties, polo shirts, button-down shirts with a jacket and a pair of khakis. It's really up to him. So I always recommend the first thing you can do is call the lodge secretary, ask the lodge secretary what their proper dress code is for the lodge at that given evening's meeting. If you have a chance to talk to the Worshipful Master prior to the meeting, if he has any preference, sometimes some lodges like to wear tuxedos, and it might be a white tuxedo coat or darker tuxedo coat. Other lodges are not like that. They might be much more casual, but it's always appropriate to give a phone call to the lodge before you show up, just so you're not underdressed. Last thing you want to do is show up to a lodge meeting well underdressed where you feel awkward for being there. Is it a problem to be overdressed when you show up to the lodge meeting? No, not really. It's good to actually show up a little overdressed. It really shows up well that you take pride in your Freemason experience. Are you traveling around internationally? I recommend you pack a couple different sets of clothes, because if you're planning on visiting a lodge during the lodge meeting, some international lodges in Europe specifically, they get very dressed. They wear tuxedos with tails, which I've seen on many occasions. You want to make sure you're prepared to look your best and represent Freemasonry from your Grand Lodge jurisdiction. And a lot of times, it might be the one experience the lodge brothers of that given lodge have a chance to see a lodge brother from another lodge. So it's always good. If you want to get dressed up a little bit more, that's fine. Is it a requirement for a visitor of a lodge to always be dressed up nicely? No, it's just taking self-pride and making sure that you look the best and you feel comfortable when you're visiting those brothers. Is it worth it to get dressed up? My answer is yeah. Like, Freemasonry is a long-term lifetime commitment. So I always say invest in a couple suits, a couple nice jackets, nice pair of shoes, have those ready to go. And you notice when you dress for success, you're more successful. You'd be surprised who you run into and you meet in a lodge meeting. I always like to put my best foot forward. Now, granted, if the lodge master says in his given year, for whatever reason, he wants to have polo shirts or be more casual, then obviously dress down. But if you want to get dressed up past that, that's perfectly fine as well. Just don't disrespect the Worshipful Master in the process of doing so. Now, some people that are dressed up a lot of the time is the District Deputy Grand Masters, or whatever title the Grand Master gives them. They are required to always wear the Grand Master's tie, if the Grand Master does have a tie, and to be wearing formal clothing, because they are a direct representation of the Grand Master of that Grand Lodge. So many times you'll see them always dressed up very nicely, because that's a requirement. And that's something they volunteer to do, because a lot of District Deputy Grand Masters are not being paid and they're doing it voluntarily. If you have a degree that's coming up, always check with the degree master or the Worshipful Master of what the dress code is for that degree, because you want to make sure everyone matches. This is really important, because you want to dress to make a right impression of Freemasonry to that brother that's getting through the degree, whatever degree it might be. It could be the first, second, or third degree, but you want to respect him and look your best and your sharpest. Why should you consider listening to me in the Freemasonry Report? Well, I'm a past master of a lodge. I've been a junior warden, senior deacon, junior deacon, served as a Tyler, junior steward, senior steward for degrees, set as a secretary, and served as treasurer. So I have a lot of different experiences in the lodge for helping out. Plus, I helped out the district in doing some youth programs for the district. So having done a lot of different meetings over the course of 17, 18 years now, what I've noticed is there's a lot of different ways to dress and get dressed for different lodge meetings in different areas. Now, rural areas, you dress one way. In an urban area, dress another way. A suburban area, dress in a different way. And some of the lodges have different corporate cultures of how they prefer to have people get dressed. So you want to take that in strong consideration. So that's why I think you should take my words very seriously, because I'm just not flying by the seat of my pants. I'm actually sharing a lot of my experiences so you can have a better fraternal experience as time goes along. Hey guys, I'm driving on the road right now and I just wanted to take a moment at the stoplight and talk about something that just came to my mind. I'm doing a video on how to dress up when you go to lodge, and as you can tell, I'm about to go to my lodge meeting and I'm dressed up really nicely tonight. So it's important to consider what happens if you can't actually afford to get a very, very nice suit. Well, think about your holidays and birthday. This is the chance where you could ask some of your family members maybe to help kick in and get you a couple nice outfits, suit-wise, to wear for lodge. Also, take in consideration going to the thrift store and helping donate to support their efforts and picking up a couple used suits from there as well. So if you're in a situation where you're like, budget's tight, money's tight, you want to be active and engaged, but you don't have $1,000 on hand to buy a high-end suit from one of the retail stores, but it makes more sense, you have a couple bucks, then go to the thrift store and get some nice suits there. Also, consider going out to like some of the tuxedo places that rent the tuxedos for special events. When they get done, they sell their jackets actually fairly inexpensively, and you could pick one up reasonably priced. So I hope this helps a little bit. I know I can go on a little bit more about this, but I am driving and I'm just catching a red light and I wanted to share that with you. Hope you enjoyed. And finally, the last thing you want to consider is make sure that you are prepared, if you are dressed up nicely, to step into a chair. Because in some occasions, if you're visiting or you're just a sidelining brother and someone calls in sick, like the junior deacon or the Tyler, they may say, hey, can you do that role? And if you're dressed up nicely, there's a higher likelihood you're going to be asked to do something than those that are not dressed up as nicely on the sideline. So just be prepared to practice your lines so you are ready to go. And that's Freemason's report of how to dress when you go to lodge. I hope you enjoyed it.